Oh man, this is some pretty wild stuff coming from the Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl Datamine. Leave a like, share with your friends. Let's get into this. So there's actually multiple bugs with the Poké Radar, both affecting flawless IVs and shiny hunting, starting off with the IV bug. So, regarding these bugs, there's a bug when giving flawless IVs. It should be granting 1 when reaching 20 plus, 2 at 30 plus, and 3 at 40 plus. We've seen this with chains in the past, but instead it only gives exactly those IVs at the threshold. Values in between thresholds received no guaranteed flawless IVs. Oh, that's not good. Also, you might notice something interesting right here. If the chain equals 100, you get 5 flawless IVs for a Pokemon. That's really cool. I wish that was in Pokemon Let's Go, but let's go on because chain continuation odds are worse than with Generation 4's mechanics. One thing I was really hoping for with the Poké Radar is that we get the modern quality of life that we've seen in other Pokemon games, making it easier to chain Pokemon. No. Instead, it's harder. I struggled with chaining in Generation 4. Now, I didn't really know the exact mechanics behind how it worked and how to do it efficiently, but now it's just worse. So this explains why people are having a trouble reaching high chain counts. So not only are the rewards for hitting chain 40 kind of scuffed in this game, but it's also a lot harder to do so. At best, you have a 93% chance of not breaking your chain after a capture. So after one capture, it's only going to be a 93% chance if you're doing it properly, which means that by doing it perfectly, you have a 5% chance to make it to a 40 chain. If you do everything right, your best odds of getting the best shiny odds are only 5%, and that brings us to this little table right here, and that also brings us to the Poké Radar mechanics. So, I didn't really know about this, and I also didn't know how it worked in Generation 6, but apparently Pokemon on the outer ring, so the furthest away from where you're doing the chaining, those actually have the highest chance of being the same species Pokemon. So the chance the patch in a ring contains the same species starting from the closest ring is 28, 48, 68, and then 88% catching a Pokemon rather than defeating it. So you also have to just catch all the Pokemon if you want the best odds, increases the odds by 10%. So that means in Generation 4, also I believe the mechanics were pretty much the exact same in X and Y. And then comparing it to Pokemon X and Y, chains and other specific mechanics are believed to be similar to that of Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Differences mean that you can get more than 4 patches of grass in Pokemon X and Y, and the possibility of a grass patch failing to contain any wild Pokemon at all, thus automatically breaking chain. It has also been verified that the Poké Radar music can change to a more upbeat tune. This is believed, but not proven, to increase shiny encounter rate. So actually, like with some of the extra weirdness in Pokemon X and Y, was it technically harder to shiny hunt, or the same, or what? I never really super got hard into it. That was Justin Flynn's deal, and all the information around it wasn't as developed because we weren't getting as in-depth with the data mining and stuff. But now has it taken all of these years to realize that even though Pokemon X and Y felt better for shiny hunting, Diamond and Pearl, even though it felt worse in the time because no one knew what they were doing, actually just had the better mechanics overall? Or is this webpage from Bulbapedia severely out of date and people understand better? I don't know. Comment down below, what do you know about the chaining and shiny hunting and stuff like that? Because it was a thing that happened, but the Pokemon community was fairly underdeveloped even back in Pokemon X and Y. It was really just kind of hitting a renaissance and growing at that point as we transitioned into Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire and Pokemon Sun and Moon. But with this, it just straight up worse because instead of a base 88 like in Diamond and Pearl, they made it 83. So harder to get shinies for no reason, and then these odds just go crazy because instead of a 2% chance to fail, it's a 7% chance to fail, and you have to carry that chain to 40. Now, there is the potential upside that you have double the shiny odds at a chain 40 in Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, but we're going to dive into that a little bit later in the video because we need to follow through with this chain. In the first screenshot, there's something for awarding 5 flawless IVs at 100 chain. A nice 0.07% chance for getting that far. That's kind of rough. So also going for giga super crazy long chains and stuff, it just isn't gonna happen. And I don't know, are the odds just supposed to be hey, you also have an almost impossible chance of not finding a shiny by that point, so it's okay, but why even have the 5 flawless IV thing if the odds are so low and the chance of failure is just baked in and worse than it was in the original games? Then just comparing it to Pokemon Let's Go, it's kind of a mess. Like, I don't understand how Pokemon Let's Go just was introduced and ended up just being like the best game for getting shiny Pokemon and high IV Pokemon, thus making it like the most competitive friendly game. Also, the quality of life for how easy it was to get PP maxes and bottle caps and just make money in the game, just kind of convert, and also get level 100s. Like, it's one of the best Pokemon games, but unfortunately, it got falsely trashed by the Pokemon community for absolutely no reason at this point. Like, there was no valid argument against Pokemon Let's Go for what it brought to the games. However, Pokemon Sword and Shield was a step back from all that quality of life, and Diamond and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl has done the same thing. Mostly with like overworld shiny Pokemon and no overworld shiny Pokemon in those games, and also just hating the quality of life that was in Pokemon Let's Go. I don't get it. Not only is there numbers weirdness, but there's also issues with swarm models colliding with radar patches, resulting in invisible objects with collision. Hopefully this is all fixed in the next patch. We don't even know when the next patch is going to be, because we already had 1.1, so if there's like a 1.2 launch patch, that gets kind of weird, but there hasn't been anything from Pokemon Company announcing or scheduling that, and these issues are weird, and we've seen things like with Pokemon Sword and Shield and the wild encounters being broken, that was never fixed throughout the entirety of Pokemon Sword and Shield, so I'm wondering if the devs even knew about it. Same thing with Pokemon Let's Go. There was a lot of like missing and incomplete data and stuff from Datamine that just never made it into the game. So if you haven't seen it by now, when there's a swarm, the Pokemon appear in the overworld and they like pop out of the grass and stuff, and it looks pretty cool, but apparently it can get in the way. That's not good. Another glitched radar tile would need to recharge the radar to cycle the swaying grass patches. So you just straight can't interact with that grass patch, and if that is like the 4th ring grass patch, or like the furthest one so you get the best odds, you're better off just running back and forth and then recharging the Poké Radar to not have a higher chance of breaking the chain. And I know what everyone's thinking, what if that's a shiny Pokemon? The answer's right there. That's what happens. Do not pass go, do not collect your shiny Pokemon, GG, end of story. How does that happen? How does that not make it through testing? Like, did none of the testers from Nintendo, because Nintendo does hire testers for these games, like beta testers and stuff, or even the devs, like, did they not go, hey, let's go and try to chain for a swarm Pokemon because they're unusual and I want a shiny of them? Also, the same thing with getting a 40+ chain and then realizing they're not all 3 IV Pokemon or something. Like, that could be pretty cool in the long run, but it just doesn't play out that way. And then, just kind of going even deeper into it, who thought this would be fun to break your chain 95% of the time to try to get to 40 to get the shiny odds? And then going into the math, a completely perfect chain in Diamond Pearl had a 44.5% chance to reach 40, but now it's been all the way nerfed down to 5.5%. So if I understand data correctly, Poké Radar and Brilliant Diamond Shine Pearl reduces how much difference it makes to carefully seek out the 4th ring patch. Correct? So yeah, just in case, like, I had to read this a couple times. I had to look at the Poké Radar page to like fully understand it and really think about it. So that's why I'm trying to explain it as best as I can for you guys, just in case you guys are confused. And then this recap also does a pretty good job. So perhaps incentivizing aimless continuation attempts over spending time optimizing being careful, that makes no sense, because like with Pokemon Let's Go and like with other things we've seen in the games, the optimization was more rewarded in like SOS battles and stuff like that, while also lowering the optimal play chances enough to make the chance of success, which used to be you'll get there in 2 to 3 perfect attempts, an order of magnitude lower. Like, yeah, it's an order of magnitude lower. That also might be why I just struggled as a kid, because I didn't know about the outer ring thing for Diamond and Pearl, but also, no matter what, you're just destined to fail at some point. Okay, so it's a lot harder and almost purely RNG based to get shiny Pokemon through the Poké Radar. Let's see if it's worth it. So Poké Radar and chaining shiny rates, somewhat similar to the Gen 4 radar algorithm. There's a stepwise equation to determine the odds of a shiny patch being generated. The shiny charm currently does not impact the rates at this time, and I personally like that. That means no tedious, annoying, boring trying to like fill out the Pokedex to get optimal shiny chaining. So that means it's more accessible and fair to everyone. Shiny charm gatekeepers, go home. Let's see how this looks. Here's an overview of how the rates improve as your chain increases. Caps out at 1 in 99 if you have a chain of 40. So that's actually pretty nuts. And then if you also get to chain 40 and then you don't fail at the 93, or you don't get that 7% chance, it just ends no matter what you do, then you go on and now you're just getting permanent 1 in 99 odds. That is really good. So look at the blue line. The red line would be the odds if you had the shiny charm and the game acknowledged it. So also the shiny charm doesn't make that much of a difference, and that's because of all the numbers and math and craziness going into it, because it's based off of a 65,000 number instead of the 1 in 8,000 number. So you're actually not getting direct shiny rolls for the chain. It just kind of factors into the chain math. And also because of how shiny rolls work, the shiny charm gets less and less effective the more additional rolls you find elsewhere. So the way that it goes like this, yeah, by like chain 25, pretty much no difference. Like maybe the shiny charm after like getting 10 shiny Pokemon would be the difference between getting it at chain 20 versus chain 40-ish. In some situations, so like the shiny charm actually doesn't really make a difference, even if it doesn't work, or even if it did work here. And then you can see like there's going to be some craziness going on. So from chain 35 to 40, get massive odds. Then after that, it's 1 in 100, which is better than Diamond and Pearl, maybe. Eventually, the odds increase by larger and larger amounts until reaching the maximum of a 1 in 200 chance at finding a shiny Pokemon for a chain length of 40 or more. Since up to 4 grass patches can shake at a single time, the probability of at least one of the 4 patches to contain a shiny Pokemon is 4 times as likely, so it's actually a 1 in 50 chance of a shiny patch appearing at a chain length of 40. And that's where this gets interesting, because are we talking about a 1 in 100 per patch or a 1 in 100 for all 4 patches? And then the math and numbers get interesting behind it. So we don't fully know until we get further clarification, but let's assume it's the best case scenario, that at a 40 chain, you actually have a 1 in 25 chance of getting a shiny patch to appear. I don't know if that makes it worth it, and that would also be something that would, like, is that the justification? Like, maybe the devs also didn't really think the math through super crazy, where they're like, well, we're making the odds twice as good, so knocking 5% off the best case, it's still 93%. That looks pretty alright. No, that's gonna be pretty good. Now, maybe the brutal effects of exponentials were overlooked a bit here, like it could have been 95 instead of 98, and still have like some kind of risk-reward thing going on, or at least offset the RNG by getting more shiny Pokemon. So I think it's going to come down to testing. I don't know if people are going to directly test it, like, hey, I have the data for 20 shiny hunts in Diamond and Pearl, I'm going to compare it to 20 shiny hunts in Brilliant Diamond Shine Pearl, who gets more shinies? Like, is there some kind of weirdness going on here to where, because the odds are just going to be better at all stages compared to how it was in the original games, potentially. So let's just take something random here, because we don't have 2 graphs to compare it to. Having 2 graphs to compare it to would actually be like really interesting, but let's just say shiny chain 20, you still have decent odds of making it there. It's roughly going to be a 1 in 1,000 chance per radar use. Now, if we go here, we go to 20, these shiny odds are 1 in 1,800. However, remember, we divide that by 4, so that seems pretty good, right? So it goes from 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 450 per shiny radar use at just a chain of 20. And then if you somehow make it to 30 and somehow like, you'd probably find a shiny Pokemon before here. So, I mean, let's just go to chain 35. It's a 1 in 250 chance of getting a shiny Pokemon. Then it just kind of keeps dropping. So you have, you know, 5 instances where it's like 1 in 250, 1 in 200, 1 in 150, 1 in 100, 1 in 75, 1 in 25. Actually, no, that just looks like straight up 1 in 50 and then 1 in 25. So, I mean, the math of finding a shiny Pokemon between 35 and 40, or maybe even like 35 and 41, probably really, really good. However, that's for all the time it takes to get up to that point. If it breaks, you're just kind of screwed, and still a 5% chance that you make it that far. So I don't know, let's just say it's a 1 in 20 chance to end up with a 1 in 4 chance of getting a shiny Pokemon. I don't know, that sounds kind of rough. But yeah, I think it's just too fat. Like, the numbers, again, exponential just go way too crazy when it's like you're comparing 44% chance to a 5% chance. It doesn't matter that this is twice as good. Like, you can just sit on this chance, and then the 3% chance to break the chain instead of a... Actually, not even 3%, it's 2% chance to break the chain instead of a 7% chance to break the chain. So you have a 1 in 50 chance to get a shiny Pokemon with only a 2% chance to break, compared to a 1 in 25 chance with a 7% chance to break. Maybe the testing, maybe when people get their hands on, it's like, wow, I'm getting shinies at either the exactly same rate or somehow it turns out to be faster. But math is a pretty objective concept, so I think this just looks worse in all cases. I don't know, someone needs to do the math, because what about all of these numbers? Like, what are your odds of getting a shiny Pokemon in Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl from 0 through 30 chain, compared to the odds of getting in Diamond Pearl on a 0 through 30 chain, and then the odds of it breaking after that? Like, if you somehow make it this far, and then, like, say it breaks at 31, you still had a good roll for getting a shiny Pokemon, and then if you, like, just get lucky, then you're pretty much guaranteed a shiny. Well, not guaranteed, but, you know, you have an incredibly high chance of getting a shiny between 30 and 40? Maybe, or at least 41. Like, I like adding that extra one, so it's like, all right, you get the god rolls at 40, and then 41 is even crazier, and also you're getting some IVs along the way, and hidden abilities maybe. It's so wacky. I think the hard math needs to come out, but on the surface it looks horrible. Also, like, some things are just broken. IVs are broken. You just get screwed over by invisible models, even though, like, the feature's supposed to look cool. I still want to hold out that somehow the shiny hunting is better in Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and that people are going to take this and just immediately... Like, the Pokemon community is so toxic that they take good things and just immediately hate them into bad things, or straight up lie about games or the devs to fit their own narrative, which is has a lot of parallels to a lot of other things going on in society right now, which is why everything is just so screwed up. But I mean, like, we need some hard math. We need someone to, like, go in, take the Brilliant Diamond numbers, compare them to the Diamond and Pearl numbers, run the cumulative odds of finding a shiny Pokemon up until that point, see the breakthrough, cross-reference it to the odds of failure, and then come up with an objective, like, yes or no, which is good or bad, and then we can reserve our reaction for that. I'm not even saying, like, reserving our hate, because reaction should be positive if it actually ends up being better, while also all of this other weirdness is going on. And what I've observed over the last couple of years is that a vast majority of the Pokemon community has an IQ below room temperature, so until we actually have the hard numbers, there's going to be a lot of idiot takes about this from people that have no idea what's going on. They interpret it as like, oh, this is harder, this is just so much straight up worse. Maybe it isn't. I think there's a chance that is, except for this just seems broken. However, like, patches... Pokemon Company hasn't been known to be, like, quick or good on their patches unless it's something super game breaking, like the Pokemon X and Y, like, data erase glitch where, like, you know, you save in Lumio City and then you just lose your save file or something. But if you didn't restart your game, I think the patch they made actually fixed it to where your game resumed from where it was. But overall, that's the only times, like, if it's something that's hard game breaking, but if it's an inconvenience, it might never get patched out, or it could take a couple of months, like version 1.2 in January. It's like, oh, hey, IVs finally work, and maybe... I don't even think they'd up the odds, though. They don't do, like, a balance change. They don't say... Like, you don't have Game Freak or Ilka or anyone from Pokemon Company going, so, we... Like, the patch notes, like a Pokemon Unite or League of Legends or something, so it's like, so yeah, we overshot the values here. We're buffing it from 93% chance to find a Pokemon on the fringe to 95% chance. We hope that this will lead to more shiny rates that we were expecting. No, they don't... No one communicates like that for Pokemon. A lot of these, like, IVs are still a fairly obscure thing, even with, like, the judge feature and how you obtain them, so you have to, like, really grind it out. Also, apparently the flat odds of finding a hidden ability are 1 in 128. Why? Just why is it so hard? Again, after Pokemon Let's Go, the game had so much quality of life that it's only gotten harder since then, and they haven't even been keeping the same baseline or making it slightly better with all the hacking stuff that's coming out. I mean, once again, Caphotix, the dude, he datamined the teams from Wolf Lake, Other World Champions, Players' Cup entrants, and they all hack. So the same thing's going to happen with Pokemon Sword and Shield in the future. Same thing's happening for Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and the response from Game Freak in the face of all of this immense hacking to where all of the top players, all top VGC players are hacking Pokemon because it gives an objective competitive advantage, and that is why you don't see any legitimate people winning, because it's that massive an advantage. Instead of easing the burden for legitimate players, they're making it harder in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Which is also weird, because like Pokemon Let's Go, that wasn't a competitive game, so maybe that's why Game Freak thought that they can make it, just give them these very valuable Pokemon for a little bit of work. But now, like, this isn't going to be VGC, that was already confirmed. This is going to be separate from competitive Pokemon, and now it's harder than competitive games. And after, like, Pokemon Let's Go, Sword and Shield, hacking, there's no value to IVs or shiny Pokemon, so why is that artificially being preserved in Diamond and Pearl? I don't know. The decisions are weird, maybe slightly defensible, but also some things are just broken, and I don't know what the hang-up is on some of the other decisions as well. So, hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.